Here we go. Please join us in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. The Huerfano County Board of County Commissioners meeting for June 11th, 2024 is now in session. First, and we have an excused absence for Commissioner Andrietta. The first item for consideration is the approval of the agenda.
Commissioners, I have no change to the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion and a second. The motion discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spooner?
Yes.
Commissioner Boucher?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Is your mic on? You can't hardly hear you back there.
Hello.
I'm going to start singing, Robert. Just so you know.
You don't want him to sing.
You-
trust me.
You're going to wish it. I never turned it on.
Oh, here's that.
Okay, next item is the consent agenda. Is that any better? Can you hear any better?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, considering for today, I have a motion for Blanca Morales from Treasurer's Office. I have the owner consent forms for the Fox Theater Phase 2 grant from the State Historical Fund. I have the Central Authority for the Community Block Grant. I have the revised overmatch commitment letter for the Huerfano River Bridge project and your May 2024 vendor report.
Make a motion for approve the consent agenda.
And I will second. So a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spooner?
Yes.
Chairman Boucher?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public comment. Erica Beal.
Erica Behill, County Clerk and Recorder. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Huerfano County citizens. I am here because I'm sure everybody is made aware by now, and if not, that there has been an issue on the 2024 primary election ballot. So I came to kind of elaborate on that and fill everybody in. I became aware of the problem late Saturday evening, 11:30 p.m. to be exact. Immediately, I notified the Secretary of State's office and our vendor shortly before midnight, and we spent all day Sunday diagnosing the issue and the best way to fix it. We are sending corrected mail ballot packet to every active voter in the county. The ballot and envelope artwork will be finalized today. It is important to know that the error here does not and will not affect the accurate tabulation of the votes in this election. We verified that the 2024 primary election ballots tabulated correctly in our public, logic, and accuracy test on May 16th. Nothing is wrong with the ballots themselves. We just inserted the wrong ballot style with the incorrect state house race in the original mailing. If you haven't already returned a voted ballot, destroy the original incorrect packet you received and mark and return the corrected ballot in the return envelope contained in the correct ballot packet. Voters who already returned their voted ballots may also mark and return their corrected ballots. The clerk's office will hold any incorrect ballots received until 7 p.m. on election day to give every voter the same opportunity to vote the correct ballot. We also reached out to NDU Cabo voters and made sure that we're getting it out there so people know what we're doing to move forward. And to ensure this never happens again, I'm working even more closely with the Secretary of State's office and the score system to ensure this don't happen again.
And when do you anticipate the corrected ballots to be mailed out?
We're thinking so the final proofing should be done today, and we're thinking Friday, Saturday. They'll start to see them coming through.
And
They will also have the words corrected ballot on the envelopes and on the ballots, just so people, in case somebody has both packets there and is not aware, because I am going to put some more information out today as well, but in case they're not aware, that they will be able to distinguish the difference.
Okay, and the date of the primary election is June.
June 25th.
Okay, so there'll still be 10 days or so for the ballots to get out and be filled out, corrected, and then returned.
Absolutely.
Okay. Stay right there, please. Dale, go ahead. Can't hear you, Dale.
My lawyer looked at me and says, I don't think you're able to go online. So if you could send that out.
She's in the room.
Just we'll out our way with this one.
Okay, Dale, last chance here. There you go.
I got it. Sorry, I apologize. We didn't get our ballots even though they were mailed on Monday till Friday or Saturday. If you mail those ballots Friday or Saturday, we might not get them till next Friday. When is the deadline for mailing back our ballots? Isn't it something like the 17th?
Monday, the 17th is the last day to be able to mail in a ballot to our office, but you can. And the new ones that are going out will be expedited. It's a different situation. We're working closely with the vendor and the Secretary of State's office and my office. They're going to drop to, they'll be finalized today and drop first thing tomorrow morning. It's a whole different situation, so it's expedited.
I'm just concerned. So if people mail in the ballots they have now, they will be counted. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much for taking time to answer my questions. I appreciate it.
No problem, Dale.
Okay, any other questions for Erica? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other public comments online? Okay, we will move to appointments honoring veteran Robert Gonzalez. Would you come up front, Robert, please? So there's a proclamation here, and it's this proclamation by the Board of County Commissioners of Huerfano County, creating the 11th of June as Robert Gonzalez Day in Huerfano County. Robert Gonzalez. Absolutely. Robert served in the U.S. Air Force in Thailand. Oh, that was rough duty. Right? From January 71 to September 2074. He achieved the rank of Buck Sergeant. Huerfano County is thankful for your service, sir. And the commissioners therefore proclaim today, June 11th, 2024, as Robert Gonzalez Day for Huerfano County, and urge all the citizens to support that. Come up here. I need to get your picture. You may not want to. Congratulations, sir. Thank you for your service. Volunteer. The next appointment is the South Central Council of Governments, Brian Blassie, and a few other people.
Good morning. I wasn't sure, so I prepared a presentation, but I prefer to respect your time and I'll just give you copies of it and then you'll have the information.
Whatever you want to do. I really, so Ryan is with the Council of Governments. He's our executive director. He's brought his directors with him, except for transit. And I would very much like the citizens of Huerfano County to be familiar with the operations of the council of government. So for Brian, I would be happy to let you go on as long as you want on this.
Okay, sounds good. So I brought all of the program directors so they could present on each one of their programs, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start out, like Commissioner Galusha said, I'm Brian Blasey, the Executive Director of the South Central Council of Governments. Our service area is Huerfano and Los Angeles counties, and we provide services with it, like regional development or regional community development services, public transportation, in-home care services, area agency on aging, and housing rehab, and the early learning center. Currently, we employ 109 employees in Los Angeles County and 47 employees in Huerfano County. Los Angeles County, we have approximately $2,655,000 in payroll for Los Angeles County and $942,000 in Huerfano County. So the split is about 70-30 with employees and payroll. For regional and community economic development, we're the administrators for the South Central TPR, which is Transportation Planning Region, and also we are representatives on the State Transportation Advisory Council for CDOT. So through the TPR, we choose the projects for highway systems and decide which projects we're going to do in our bi-county region. Those are community meetings, and everybody's welcome to attend. We also administer the South Central Enterprise Zone, which is tax credits for capital improvements, employee tax credits. So there's multiple tax credits that you can take advantage of. And you can always contact Donna Torres in our office, and she can give you more information on those. We're also regional grant administration for Scenic Highway of Legends, which is a sign project that's going to go up on Highway 12. And then we're also the regional roadmap project partner. So we'll go into public transportation. Aaron Lopez had a medical appointment today that he couldn't miss. He had an unforeseen accident, so he had to go see an orthopedic doctor today. So for our transportation services, we have ADA accessible vans and shuttles. We can provide rides to work, shopping, medical appointments, and other errands. They're all affordable fares. They're usually around $2. If you're on Medicaid, if you have medical appointments, Medicaid will cover the cost of the ride. We provide rides to the area agency on aging consumers, which is anybody over 60. They can ride free. In Huerfano County, they have us, we're here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Tuesdays and Thursdays is scheduled. June through August 2024 is fare free for everybody. So if you want to ride our buses, there's no cost to the general public.
And does that include the busting?
It does not include busting. So busting is a separate service, and so the fares stay the same.
Okay.
We also provide specialty rides for medical appointments to Colorado Springs and Pueblo. These do require advance notice, so up to 2 weeks. And you just have to call the ride line to coordinate rides. So 24-hour advance notice is appreciated. Okay. And with that, I'm going to invite Tammy Torres up, who is the Care Services Director, to talk about her program.
Have an accident. Good morning, I'm Tammy Torres. So I'm the Care Service Director in Los Angeles County, and I'll be overseeing the Huerfano County Care Services. Lorraine King retired May 31st, so I'm going to be doing both counties for right now. But we have a great team here in Huerfano County, and they've been with the agency for quite a long time. That's Katie Sporsich, I'm sure you know her, and Danae Ecker. So I'm going to be helping them as well. Just to give you a little overview of our program. So we're non-medical, which is a Class B licensure. and we service both Huerfano and Los Angeles County. These programs are designed to keep our clients independent in their home for as long as possible. There are several funding sources to assist with the cost of care. Payment includes Colorado Health First, which is Colorado Medicaid, third party or long-term care insurance plans, private pay or grant assisted funding when it's available through the Huerfano Los Angeles Area Agency on Aging program, which is ran by Veronica Mace. We have 2 administrative offices here in Walsenburg and the one in Trinidad. Providers staff are available to work in all areas of each county, including our rural areas. Services provided, so we have personal care services, which include activities of daily living, bathing, dressing, skin care, hair care, oral care, shaving, assistance with mobility and ambulations, transfers, positioning, bladder and bowel care, medication reminding, protective oversight, and accompanying in the community. Our homemaker services are just general like housekeeping, which include dusting, sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, bathroom cleaning, kitchen cleaning, trash removal, dishwashing, laundry tasks, bed making, linen changes, meal preparation, shopping, and errands. A majority of our clients and referrals come from Department of Human Services, and that's under the Home Community-Based Service Program, which is a Medicaid program. Their eligibility is determined by the local Department of Human Services, and they can be authorized for non-relative care or relative care. And any relative can do the relative care other than a spouse. Just some facts about our services. In Huerfano County, we have 65 clients enrolled. Los Angeles County, we have 62 clients enrolled. Both counties right now have several pending referrals, which we are on top of to get those staffed. And our provider staff, Huerfano County has 35 care providers. Los Angeles County has 44 care providers. And like I said, we have a great case management staff. Katie and Danae are both in Huerfano County. I only have one case manager in Los Angeles County, and I'm helping with that caseload. Haley Dove is our lead case manager. And then just some statistics that are in your packet there. For Los Angeles County, last year we served 106 clients. We completed 15,978 visits. Visits, and provided 46,577 hours of service. And then here's a breakdown, you guys have that, of the areas that we served in Los Angeles County, with the majority being in Trinidad. And Aguilar has 11. That would be the next highest number. Huerfano County, to break down there, we served 97 clients. Total visits completed were 2,698. Total hours service 34,768. And then the breakdown for account services.
So a couple of questions. So you have, I know, but I would like you to share with the others. How challenging is it to find care workers, and what's the pay?
So right now, the wage-based pay is $15.75 per hour. However, some of our care providers are above that pay rate. On July 1, we will have to raise that rate to $17 an hour. So I'm new for the Huerfano County, so there's a struggle here in Huerfano County to find care workers. Los Angeles, we're okay. But what we're finding out is once we get them hired, we send them out in the field, get them trained, this is a type of work for them. You know, it's a little difficult, you know, especially when you're having to provide that personal care for the clients needing a bathing tasks or hygiene tasks, which include like bowel and bladder care. And, you know, they doesn't fit them, so they want something else. Huerfano County, the girls were telling me today that they have several applicants that they're looking to get interviewed and hopefully hired. I think we're about 5 providers short in county. and their utilization is not to at full par value. So we need to get that up, and hopefully we'll work on that soon.
And of applicants that have applied for care, do we have a waiting list on that?
Applicants that applied. Oh, so the
For
clients,
care.
in Huerfano County, we do, Los Angeles County, we do not. So it's just finding workers to get those staffed. And we can add more hours to the Huerfano County program. We can find more workers to get out there in the field. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Questions? Questions? Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. So the next director that I would like to come present will be the Area Agency on Aging, who is Ronald Mix, based in Huerfano County.
I think most of you know me.
Morning.
Veronica Mace, Area Agency on Aging Director for Region 14. We are the smallest region in Colorado, and I brag on that because of the work that we do with what we get. So I've been here for quite a while, and as most of you, I hope know, we have a brand new building going up right here in Walsenburg. Our new address will be 211 Elder, which is appropriate for the facility that we will have there. And so the Area Agency on Aging, the funding that we received, it's pretty flexible. It's pretty small, but we did actually get an increase this year, so we're very excited about that. And part of that is due to the demographics of our region. And I'm sure that most of you know that this region, or Huerfano County in general, we sit at about 45% over the age of 60. That's huge. You know, they've been talking about, I was at a state meeting this past week, and they were talking about statistically in 2030, we're going to be at, you know, over age. And I was like, we're there. We've been there for the last 10 years. So it just shows that, you know, people come here, they stay here, and they live long. So when they do come to us, they need help. They need a lot of help. And one of our biggest programs that we have is our nutrition program. And this new facility will definitely give us the edge on that. I am very grateful. I can speak for all my predecessors of what Huerfano County has done for the Area Agency on Aging by providing that community service, community center to house our nutrition program. It housed our administrative program for a long time, but without that, this program wouldn't be existing today. So we're very grateful to that. That building has aged just like the community has aged. So we're really excited to have a new facility that's, you know, ADA compliant. It's going to have other activities and those things. So part of what we use our funding for is to help people that don't have Medicaid, for transportation, for in-home care. You know, Medicaid provides those services. So there needs to be a way for those seniors to access that if they're in that gap where they can't afford it, they can't have Medicaid. So that's what we do. And I think we do a great job doing that. All of our contracts are interagency. So that is a great benefit to our Area Agency on Aging, that we don't have to go out and look for those providers because they're right here in our backyard. So our target clients are over 60, registered in our program, underserved and underserved. And at this time, a lot of our programs do not have income restrictions. The problem with that is that we run out of money and then we can't serve anybody. And that's where we're sitting right now. Our funding runs from July through June. And as you can imagine, we're in June. So we have slowed down on a lot of services. And that's what's hard for the statistics that I run, because I can't do year to dates because we push up so much at the beginning and have to kind of reserve it toward the end. COVID, the blessing that COVID gave us was money. They realized if we give them money, what can you do with that money? And we were infused with a lot of money. And I believe that we spent it right here in Huerfano County and in Los Angeles County, getting those seniors what they needed. And it helped us secure additional funding with the state. And hopefully the federal government will understand that the Older Americans Act needs more money. They've been talking about redoing that for so many years, and it needs more money so that we can do the services we do. So just at a glance, obviously nutrition is our biggest program. In 2023, we did over 21,000 meals, hot meals, that were either delivered to somebody's door or in this area picked up. Once we open our new facility, hopefully August, we will have people coming to us, and we will be happy to serve them in our new facility. In 2024 year to date, we're already at almost 10,000 meals. So that just shows that it's grown. In 2023, same time period, January through May, we were only at about 7,900. So we're up almost 2,000 meals just in 2024. So it just shows what that need is, that people can come down. It's a $2 suggested donation. If you can't pay, we still feed you. And you know, I will say that one of our funding sources is contributions from our consumers. And without those contributions, this program would struggle. But both Huerfano County, Los Angeles County, our seniors are very generous. They understand the importance of these programs and what their $2 gives to us. Many give more, and we are grateful to them for doing that. So we have, I gave some statistics with the packet there. It's just a breakdown of what we do. So transportation, care services. We are also now funding bus staying trips for seniors. So if someone wants to take that bus staying trip, if they make that reservation with the ride line, the area agency will pay for that trip for them. So that's kind of an exciting thing that we added to get people there, but we still will pay for medical visits to Public Colorado Springs member as transit can schedule those. In a nutshell, that's kind of where we're at. We do have legal services. Colorado Legal Services has agreed to sign another contract with us. We are having a very big event here on Friday up at our office. We're hoping to be in our new building, but that didn't happen. But it's World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which is Saturday the 15th. But we're going to do it the 14th year, the 15th in Trinidad. And we hope that y'all come out. We're going to have vendors there. AARP, Elder Watch will be there. Colorado Legal Services, the SHIP program, which is the Medicare counselors and advice, they will be on hand, as well as DHS, COG, many other vendors that serve our area. So we hope that you come by. I could be wrong on this time, but I think it's 11 to 2, but it will be up at our office. And I think that's kind of it. Oh, one last thing I did want to, because I know that this is near and dear to Mr. Galush's heart, food distribution. I just want to say, I have been doing food distribution in Los Angeles County since I started this job. And when the pandemic hit and there was no food coming into Huerfano County, and I was approached by Parent Service or by Parent Chair and asked if I would take on that program. And I said, I don't have the capacity to do that. Let me find partners. And picked up the phone to Mr. Galusha, who was administrator at the time. And he's like, yeah, we'll make that happen. And he did, and the county did, and the county still is doing that. I stepped away from the program in early 2023, but it's still going strong. It's still feeding several people. I don't have those numbers. I will start reporting those as they are going to start reporting those back to me. But in 2023, for the first part of the year, we did like 1,800 boxes plus in Huerfano County. And that was just for the first 6 months. So you double that, you're sitting at almost 4. That is pretty comparative to what we did in Los Angeles County. In Los Angeles County, we do the 2 programs. I know that Pueblo does your CSFP program here, but just to give you some perspective, Los Angeles County, relatively close numbers, we did over $471,000 in food that were given out at those distributions. So you can probably estimate that it was probably close to 400,000 here in Huerfano County. And if you go to Parent Show, they will give you those numbers if you ask for them. So I just wanted to put that into perspective. And January 23, you were serving 219 households, 443. And in May of 24, they did 393 households and 679 individuals. So it just shows you how much that program has truly grown, and all because of the commitment of the Huerfano County employees. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Can you give a little bit more info on the ombudsman program?
So the ombudsman program is the advocate for long-term care facilities. So it's only for the veterans home here and Levita Village here, and then the long-term beds at the hospital. And it's an advocate for the residents that they can go to if they have any issues, problems, concerns. Right now, we're in the process of hiring a new ombudsman. Deborah Wilson will officially be hired as of Thursday, but right now the state ombudsman is covering this. So we do the personnel part of it, the state ombudsman does the programmatic part of it. And so any confidentiality, all that kind of stuff has to go through the state ombudsman. And they have to visit those facilities at least once a month. We like them to do the resident council at those facilities and anytime they get a call. Anything else more specific on that?
No,
Okay.
I've known people have done before and it's a tremendous benefit.
Yeah, and we're really excited. The lady that we're bringing on was a former administrator, so I think she'll have a lot of just insight coming into that. So I think that that will help. But we're gonna try next year to continue the material aid. We went from doing 100,000 in material aid for vision, dental, hearing to like less than 30,000 this year. That's how we've had to cut those services just because of the funding. Our in-home care, we were doing 120 plus, and now we're back down to about 60, 70,000. So we really just try to manage the money that we receive. And like I said, I think we do a pretty good job.
So a lot of the funding that you get is federal funding that comes through the state. Is that
So we get half of our funding from the Older Americans Act and half of it for state funding for senior services. So it's half and half.
Okay.
And the Fed money is pretty strict. It's, like what it's used for. The state funding is a lot more flexible. It's an accounting job, let me tell you.
right?
Anything
you.
else for me?
Any other questions?
And we will invite you to our grand opening. We're getting very excited for. We have about a 4,500 square foot building. I'll have a full blown, that's in Huerfano County. Our offices will be there. The care services people or staff will relocate with us. And we are working on putting a workout room in there for seniors specifically.
And so just a side note, so this is a new senior center to replace what the county had made available before the 2018 fire. And so it's the location of it is on the corner of Elder and Hooper. And so Veronica was successful in getting an elder address. So it's an elder center instead of old people center. Sorry.
And we are
Thank
very
you.
grateful to the state of Colorado. They were able to give us SB 290 funds, so 1.5 million. We also received funds from Daniel's Fund, Next 50, Alpamar. So we're continuing, and San Isabel gave us a big infusion right here at the end. So we're very grateful to all those funders. But now we're on our own. We don't have the county to be there for us the way they were. So we do hope that you do continue to support us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next director, she's fairly new to us. She's been with us a couple months. She comes from a background of housing in Oklahoma. So she managed CDBG grants in her past life. So I'd like to welcome Brenda Pope.
Hello, good morning. I'm Brenda Pope.
Morning.
Right now at South Central Council of Governments, we offer 3 programs for home renovations as well as utility assistance. They are available to what are considered low to moderate income households. The income guidelines change from year to year based on what HUD says. I believe right now for a 2-person household, we're looking at an income of $69,600. So they have increased that limit a little bit. So it gives, it makes more people eligible for our programs. We have to do business within the federal fair housing laws, which means that it is illegal for us to discriminate against any person because of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin. So basically we are open to anybody, as long as they meet those income guidelines and the other qualifications that we have. They have to live in their house for at least a year, and they do have to own their home. And these are not for the utility assistance. These are just for any of the home repair programs. Our single family owner occupied rehab, which is going to be our biggest program right now, is funded by the Colorado Department of Local Affairs using funds from HUD. So basically the way it works is once we get the application from the homeowner, we evaluate it and make sure that they do qualify. And then we will prepare a package and send it over to our loan committee for approval. So we don't approve them in-house unless it is an emergency repair that needs to be done. in a quick manner. But the loan committee will basically recommend how long we want to fund the loan for, as well as the interest rate. Most of our loans are between 5 years and 30 years. They're secured with a deed of trust that gets recorded at the courthouse. If the interest rates on the loans are between 0% and 3%. The last few years, HUD has issued a 0% waiver, so we've been able to provide more people the very, very, very low and no interest loans. Let's see, now the payment terms are usually for the maximum loan that we have, which would be $24,999. A 30-year loan on that, they would be looking at $70 a month for 30 years. If they are unable to pay the loan and they default on it, technically we can foreclose because we do have that provision in there. However, if the person passes away and somebody else takes possession of the home, the loan does have to be repaid either out of the net proceeds of the sale of the home, or the new homeowner can assume the loan as long as they qualify within the income guidelines and everything as well. The property must be in Los Angeles or Huerfano County, and they can only have a first mortgage. Other than that, we do like to get people approved so they can do the improvements to their homes. A lot of them will do new roofs. We have some that will do like remodeling, flooring, things like that to make it safe and sanitary. That's the goal of the program, is for safe, sanitary, affordable housing. We also have our Energy Outreach Colorado program. That is a bill payment assistance program. Now that it's open every year, starts a new program year on October 1st. People are able to apply for assistance. So they can get assistance on one bill per grade cycle. So basically between October 1st and September 30th, we're able to do an assistance of up to $1,000 per bill. Now that if they have, I don't think we have any in this area, but if there's a combined, say they have electric and gas, they're eligible to get two assistances. They will consider that two separate bills. It's also available to get firewood, pellets, basically anything that would be needed to provide the home with energy. The assistance for the Energy Outreach Colorado, they do have to, the assistants must keep their utilities on for the next 30 days. We also are unable to pay deposits with it. We often have people that will come in that their utilities have been disconnected. However, if they owe that deposit would have to be paid before we would be able to provide the assistance to them. Now that is a privately funded program. It's not a state funded program. It's based on donations from like Excel Energy, Black Hills. They'll all put it into this fund that people from the state can pull from. We are not the only agency that administers that program, but we are the largest in this area. However, if we run out of funding, because we only have a specific amount per quarter, if we run out of funding, we can refer them to another agency that takes care of the statewide.
And this program works in conjunction with LEAP. Correct?
Yes, you can have LEAP as well as using the energy assistance. The last program I'm not super familiar with. I haven't had any training on it just yet, but it's going to be the Medicaid Accessibility Home Modification Program. Historically, we've used it with CDBG funds to make the homes more accessible. For example, if somebody gets put in a wheelchair and they need their doorways widened in their home, or they need a ramp. Showers, like a walk-in shower, or a roll-in, I should say. But those would be, we generally get referrals for that from our care providers as well as DHS. But they will, whenever we blend the funds together, because there's a $14,000 maximum for the home modification. So if they do need more work than that, in the past, we've been able to add CDBG funds to that to make the projects possible. So.
On the single family owner occupied rehab,
Mhm.
do you have a contractor list for projects in Huerfano County?
So I don't specifically have a list of contractors for Huerfano County, but we do have to send those projects out for bid, with it being federal funds. So if you have a list, I would definitely.
You need to meet Sherry Chamberlain, Brenda, Sherry.
Okay.
And just a note for you, I would, it's been kind of a pet peeve of mine for 15 years that we just don't get very much advertising for the home mod or the rehab program. Would love to see more advertising, pamphlets, radio, newspaper, whatever that is. Would love to see more.
That actually is on my agenda of things that I would like to do. We have funding right now for I believe it's about 80 more loans that we can do before March of 2026. So we definitely need a lot of applicants for that so that we can get moving on it. But yeah, we would definitely like to do more projects up here in the Huerfano County area.
Thank you and welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Last but not least is Renee Monahan, who is going to talk about the early learning center.
Good morning, I'm Renee Monahan. I am the Program Director, the Early Learning Center in both Huerfano and Los Animas County. I have been very blessed to be an employee of the Early Learning Center for over 19 years. I became Program Director last year. We were able to reopen the Early Learning Center last August 15th. We have a fantastic child care director over there, Jen Chavez. We have 15 children currently. We have 10 children. We're licensed for 15. We have 4 staff members. We have 6 children on a waiting list, but it has been a struggle to get qualified employees who have the requirements necessary to take care of other people's children in a safe and quality manner. But with that said, I'm very optimistic. I believe that we are making progress. We are rebuilding the trusts with Huerfano County. That is one of my main goals as program director. I want to rebuild that trust to make sure that we stay, the early learning center can stay open and we can progress and continue to have children. We are licensed for ages 1 to 8. Right now we have ages 1 to 3 at our center. But it has been, I will not sugarcoat it, I apologize, but it has been extremely difficult to find qualified staff and staff that actually want to work. We will hire someone, they won't pass the background check. So then they're, off of the hiring pool. If they do pass and they come to work, it's like what Tammy was saying, it's just not a profession that they are able to do, which I completely respect that. Or they just stop showing up to work. So it's extremely difficult to be able to keep the doors open over there. And our current child care director, who has done a fantastic job over there, she recently put in her resignation. So as of July 1st, she will no longer be there. So I am actively looking for somebody to take her place and to work with me side by side to make sure that we can keep the doors open over there. No, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that is a tough thing, is that Jen does drive from Trinidad. And so I know that that's 30 minutes every day, one way, and then the 30 minutes back. So that has been a huge struggle for her. My goal is to be able to find employees that live here that can help make this center what I know it is so capable of being. We have a lot of possibilities that the future could be really bright over there. But right now it is struggling. And we love the families that we have there. So if you know of anybody, please have them reach out to me and we can move forward from there.
What are the requirements to be able to do that?
So for a child care director, they have to be licensed through the Colorado Department of Early Childhood. They have to be small center or large center director qualified, which means they'd have to have some college classes, some early childhood classes for sure. There's about 10 or 12 trainings we have to do through CDEC. And then if it's a teacher or a teacher assistant, there's about 10 or 12 mandated trainings. But I can work with, if they have experience in early childhood, I can definitely work with that and help them. If it's a profession that somebody wants to get in, I am totally willing to put in the effort to make it work for somebody. Any questions? I know mine was sort of short and bleak. I apologize, but that's what we're dealing with right now. So.
Well, I personally want to welcome you to the position and thank you. It's been a breath of fresh air to have you involved in that. We appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Any other questions? No.
Thank you very much.
So, in closing, we've kind of changed the way we're doing business in Huerfano County. In the past, all the program directors, except care services, has been housed in Trinidad. So we've changed it. We're rotating. So at least one of us is up here every week, and so it rotates to about every week and a half that we're here. So each program director is here. So on a rotating schedule. So if you have any questions about these programs or would just like to sit down and talk to any of the program directors, then you can call and schedule the day that they're here. It opens that online communication because we really want to provide more services in Huerfano County because there's a need for it here. So that's kind of where we're at. Our board consists of 2 representatives from Los Angeles County and 2 from Huerfano County. So City of Trinidad is Aaron Williamson. Los Angeles County is Commissioner Luis Lopez. Huerfano County is Commissioner Lucia for now.
Couple more weeks.
Nick DeHill is our representative from the city of Walsenburg. And then we have one board member at large who is the mayor of Cannon Budrose. So on the agenda is appointing to the position. So thank you for your time. Do you have any other questions for us?
Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Brian, thank you for coming up. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys coming up. Thank you for taking
Absolutely.
time out.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is land use. Focus buds public hearing. How do you want to run this public hearing?
Morning, commissioners.
Morning.
Uh,
Please introduce yourself.
Yep, I am Guy Tallman. I am representing Huerfano County as on-call planner. And presenting to you the support for marijuana license 24-001. This is the first application that we've received since we revised our marijuana ordinance. So I want to spend some time today focusing on what that ordinance says and how it guides you in your evaluation process and how to evaluate this application. So the application before you today is for a marijuana cultivation facility. It's on a property, 107 acres, just north of the Rio Picharis Inn, abutting on to the east, Spanish Peaks Village, and it's about 2,500 feet south of Rio Picharis Phase 3. To the west, it's agricultural land. And the applicants on the property previously had grown hemp on the site. And then for different economic reasons, it's been fallow for a number of years. And they're trying to reinvigorate their operation buy grown marijuana and have applied for this permit. So I'm going to skip down in the staff report and look at some of the impacts or actually, let me start a little further down. Let's start with the completeness section. As part of this application, we looked at the property history and we're able to see that the greenhouse there had received a final inspection, but didn't appear to have a certificate of occupant or a certificate of completion. So the inspectors went back out to revisit the site and evaluate what the status of things were, and to bring them into compliance. So according to our records, there wasn't a certificate of occupancy, so there was a re-inspection conducted on June 5th. And the certificate of occupancy on the greenhouse is just pending electrical and plumbing finals. The hoop house on the property appears to be unpermitted. And so to bring that into compliance, the applicant will have to apply for a building permit, have that inspected, and respond to any issues that may be identified. And there was also a camper there that showed signs of being lived in. And if that's the case, then a camping permit needs to be applied for. So in our marijuana ordinance, there's a number of criteria that relate to location. And so I just want to go over each one of those one at a time and then comment on the status of this particular application. This is in section 1.08 of the ordinance 23-001. First, no license may be issued to operate a medical or retail marijuana cultivation facility in a residential zone district or operate a medical or retail marijuana store, manufacturing facility, or testing facility as a home occupation. So this proposed project is zoned agricultural, so it's not in a residential zone, and it would be a home occupation. There's no residence on the site. 1.08.2, when the local licensing authority, that's you, has reason for concern that an adjacent use may not be compatible with the proposed use, a statement of no opposition from adjacent property owners may be requested by certified mail to the addresses listed with the assessor. So the adjacent uses currently to the north and west are vacant agricultural properties. To the east is Spanish Peaks Village. There are some homes built bordering the property. There are other vacant properties along the eastern border. And then to the south is the county-owned Rio Cucharas Inn. The proposed new cultivation facilities are facilities located within 3 miles of the municipal boundary shall have extraterritorial commercial water tap from said community. That doesn't apply to this property. It's about 4.4 miles from the Walsenburg city limits. Any new cultivation facilities located more than 3 miles from the municipality must demonstrate a physical legal source of water approved by Division II engineer from the Colorado Division of Water Resources. Colorado Division of Water Resources has submitted a letter stating that there's a legal source of water. Their source of water is hauled water from Ojo Springs Drilling Well Service. All applications for commercial marijuana cultivation shall be sent to Colorado Division of Water Resources, Fire District, Sheriff Department, and any other agency determined necessary by the licensing authority for review. There's a list of review agencies to whom this application has been sent, including Road and Bridge, and Isabel Electric, the Health Department, County Sheriff, the Noxious Weed Manager, the County Assessor, County Finance, the County Treasurer, Soil Conservation District and Huerfano County Fire Protection District. If any responses have been received from any of those, Sherry, are you aware?
Written in the report, it does say there was no comments and or concerns received by the above mentioned referral agencies.
Okay, so no comments were received from the referral agencies. And the last two conditions on locations are for other types of licenses, so not for cultivation. As you consider the application, consider the following nuisances: noise, dust, odors, light, hours of operation, and traffic. As far as noise goes, there's no particular source of noise identified from the proposed operations that would pose a nuisance. Dust, the proposed operations will not create dust. Odors, both the greenhouse and the hoop house will be equipped with air filters. And during harvest times, there'll be an additional portable filter brought on site so that will mitigate the odors. This is all indoor cultivation, so it's not an outdoor facility, which gives the operators a little bit more control over mitigating odor. Light, there is a lighting plan submitted with this application. There's a couple sources of light. Part of the state marijuana regulations require security cameras, and that requires that there's sufficient light at night that cameras can pick up a face and identify anybody who might come on the site. So there will be outdoor lighting. They have identified a number of ways in which it'll comply with the skies ordinance, including shielding, not being above 25 feet in height, and over 175 watts. As far as indoor lighting in the greenhouses, during the winter months, marijuana needs 18 hours a day of light during the vegetative stage and about 12 hours of light during the flowering stage. And so there would be additional daylight added with artificial light. And to mitigate that, they have identified some shielding that can be installed in the greenhouse to mitigate the effect or the visibility of that greenhouse at night from other parts of the county. Hours of operation would be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Traffic, there'd be up to 4 on-site employees, which could generate between 8 and 16 personal vehicle trips per day on County Road 504. The access to the property is off of the county road there. So as we look at the criteria for approval, as you guys look at what to look at, we can just go through this very quickly. It's in section 6.01.01 of the marijuana ordinance. Before approving a local license, the authority shall determine that all of the following requirements are met by the applicant. The first one, that the application is complete. Staff and myself have found that all of the required submittals have been submitted, that the land use department has determined that the use is permitted in the location of the premises and the owner operator has obtained any required approvals under county land use regulations. This is part of that. So this is zoned agricultural, as mentioned before, which makes it eligible for this process, for a hearing and an application for a marijuana license, a cultivation license. That there are no zoning violations on the premise. That all proposed signs meet the requirements of Huerfano County land use regulations. I'm not aware that any signs are proposed to likely be unsigned. All proposed lighting meets Huerfano County land use regulations. The lighting plan does indicate that it would be in compliance with the federal. Any structure in which a licensed use is located has been inspected by Huerfano County building official. Building inspector or designee complies with all applicable building regulations. That is in the process of being completed and brought into conformance. So that would probably be, if this is approved, that would be a condition of approval, is that that has been completed to our standards. That the premise complies with all applicable land use regulations, including but not limited to driveway grading setback regulations. The premise has, and one thing I'll just mention is that part of what the marijuana ordinance did was it got rid of the 1,000-foot setback that had been previously part of our marijuana regulations. So that's no longer there, and so the regular setbacks that would apply to any building would apply to this. The premise has all required well or water sanitation system permits or is adequately served by public water or sewer. There's over 20,000 gallons of storage capacity on the site, and it would be serviced by hauling. That all personal property tax schedules related to premises are submitted timely and are complete. That the premise is not subject to unresolved enforcement action by the health department and complies with fire code. All property taxes have been paid, no tax liens exist. I believe that is the case. All Huerfano County sales taxes have been timely reported and paid. All Huerfano County retail marijuana cultivation facility excises have been reported and paid, and that the county retail cultivation facility excise taxes have been reported and paid. That the applicant and premises are in compliance with other county regulations. That the applicant and any required attachments or submissions does not contain material falsehood or misrepresentation. And the proposed licensed premises are located in a location permitted by the regulations. Number 18, protests from nearby residents or HOA POAs will be considered as a potential justification for denial. Demonstration of eligibility to receive state license of the same type of activity at the same location to the satisfaction of the local licensing authority. And on that note, one of the things that we're trying to resolve and clarify with our marijuana ordinance was that applicants for a marijuana license in the county would be able to go through the county process first prior to going through the state process, because there's unknowns. That's a large cost to invest in state licensing prior to knowing whether or not local licensing is going to work or not. And so one of the conditions in the ordinance is that no license shall be issued until a state license has also been issued. So your approval today or within the next 30 days would be contingent on state licensing as well. A few other notes on your decision on the application in section 7, that the local licensing, the Board of County Commissioners has the authority to refuse to issue, renew, or transfer any license for good cause. And where reasonably necessary and otherwise consistent with Colorado Marijuana Code and provisions of this chapter, the local licensing authority may conditionally approve any application under this chapter, and may also issue a conditional or stipulated license or place conditions on the license. And you have 30 days to issue a decision from the close of the public hearing. So if you're not able or ready to issue a decision today, you have a little bit of buffer right there. So I will conclude with some recommendations on conditions because it came up in the process of our investigation with this application that there is a little bit of permitting to finalize and clean up with the hoop house and making sure that the greenhouse is fully compliant. The applicant is working on that, and so they need a little bit of time to follow through with those procedures. And the certificate of completion should be issued before the license is active. There were also 2 shipping containers on the site, which hadn't been granted a conditional use permit. And that's a fairly simple administrative process, but that should go, that needs to be taken care of before the license is approved. And there's a camper on site. And if that camper is to be lived in for more than 7 consecutive days or 30 days in a year, a camping permit must be obtained. It wasn't clear exactly how that camper is going to be used or how it is being used. So that's, I think the applicant can speak to that, you know, whether that's relevant. And with that, I will stand for any questions and hear from the commissioners any other issues you'd like me to cover.
Number one for me, I think that at the entrance, so the number one is this existing driveway.
Yeah, so there's an existing driveway coming off of County Road 504.
And
it kind of meanders through the property. On the property, it may be worth mentioning there's a dike, like sort of natural dike, and that gives a visual shield between the Spanish Peak subdivision and where the facility is located. So the road kind of meanders up and over the dike.
Okay, so I assume that that's gated somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the gate, I think we do need signage, which would be emergency contact information.
Okay.
In case we need to, or the law enforcement needs to get a hold of them.
And I believe there are, and I'll have the applicant clarify this. I believe there are 2 gates. There's a gate at County Road 504, and there's another fenced area more immediately around the facility itself.
Okay. However that works out, I think that we need emergency contact information on a sign on the gate.
That's per MED as well. That's per MED as well. Marijuana Enforcement Division. It's
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to have the sign with the name of the company and the emergency contact information.
Okay. And then that would have been my other condition that I would like to see is that they're in compliance with the state at all times. So just to make sure that if they fall out of compliance, what happens with this license?
And that is covered in the ordinance itself, and that is a requirement.
That's my thoughts.
You, excuse me, you had talked about the filtration system or what have you for the smells from that.
Odor control.
Yeah, odor control.
Mhm.
Because I know that with the ones that were close to the hospital, you'd smell those quite a bit. Is that something that would be able to be rectified from that location as well?
I think on the facilities, there would be carbon filters. And so that, you know, and my understanding is maybe not, maybe we can let the applicant speak to this in a little bit more detail. My understanding is that the odors are come in waves in the flowering cycle. And so it's not, you know, 24-hour a day, 12 months a year type of situation. The applicant is thinking about growing 2 to 3 crop cycles per year. So there'd be 2 to 3 times per year when the crops would be flowering, and the carbon filtration systems are designed to handle things like this. And when they're harvesting, they would bring in a portable filter to further mitigate that. The nearest properties in Spanish Peaks are about 1,500 feet away, to the east of where the facility's at. And the property in 2016 and 17, I believe, was used to cultivate hemp. And that included not just indoor cultivation, but also outdoor field. And according to the applicant, there hadn't been any complaints about odor. And my understanding is that the odor impact of hemp is similar to the odor impact of marijuana.
Well, we have a hospital director here, and I bet we would get a different answer from him. So I would, what I'd like to do, if you're good with this, is ask the applicant to come forward so we can just have this conversation. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? And I may have missed it. Is the name of the land the same name as the applicant right now? Are they the land owner?
Yeah, so in the assessor's record, it's owned by Blue Sky Farms.
Okay.
And Focus Buds is a new company that was formed for the purpose of this project, of the proposed project. And the owners are the same.
Are they planning on changing the land name to match what the Secretary of State is showing?
I don't believe so. I think Blue Sky Farms is leasing the land to Focus Buds.
Thanks.
Thank you. So please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. My name is Joel Huerfano. I live at 595 COZ Road in Walsenburg, just outside of town. Y'all had asked a question about the smell. For starters, the operation that is going on next to the hospital, we would be about a 16th of that size. They had way more going on there. When we were doing hemp, we had upwards of around legally 10,000 hemp plants, indoor and outdoor, and it was very minimal smell. From the gate itself to the actual facility is an actual mile off the road. I'm not sure about the 1,500 feet. I would have to say that the properties could be further. The closest properties could be further, but most all the properties are down below. So even if there was any smell, which I was there, it would not affect them at all. And so I would definitely be looking forward to getting my job back so I could, spend more of my money here in the county than out of the county. Like, I love it down here. I don't ever, as one of the ladies had said before, people come here and don't want to leave. Well, I mean, the views say it all for me, and they get people and a lot of opportunities for people who are seeking opportunities.
Right.
And I think it could benefit the community with offering jobs for individuals. There are people that are actually looking for jobs, and I think that would benefit the community by having locals help on the project.
I think the question is about how to control odors.
Okay.
So with the air filtration that they talk about, how's that going to control the odors?
Hello, my name is Farouk Hussain, and we actually have our lawyer online, Rachel. For the odor systems, during the harvesting or the trimming process, that is when the smell is the highest, and we plan to use the filter, and we're going to be in an enclosed building. So we're hoping those factors help greatly mitigate that odor. And on top of that, we're willing to take extra measures, whatever it takes, to make sure we're complying with that, and our neighbors are okay with that.
Would it be appropriate to ask for the specifications of the filters so that we could, I don't know if we can, how far we could take that request. But I would be, just because, so I have a couple more weeks. He's got years to go and his phone's been green because it stinks, you know. Just, and Mitch. So I just want to see what the commissioners can do in order to address the phone calls when they come in. That's what. So if it's possible to get the actual specs of the filters, that would be ideal, I think.
Yeah, I think Rachel wants to jump in this conversation, so maybe I'll.
Thank you, Farouk. This is Attorney Nico Ardenoy. Thank you to the commissioners for allowing us to be heard today. I was just flipping through the packet to make sure what we had included in our odor control plan, and we're happy to get you. I don't see a specification on the carbon filters included in there, but we can certainly forward those to you shortly after the hearing. And so happy to get that over to you. I had one other comment. Sorry, I'm just scrolling here because it's a significant packet. My understanding, and maybe Carl can answer this, when I assisted a client years ago in Huerfano County, that the county actually has the instrument to detect odors and test those. And so, you know, if possible, you know, and we would absolutely, my client would work with the county if there was a circumstance where they'd like to come out and do that testing around the property boundaries to make sure that they're in compliance with any odor concerns ahead of time, or even reach out and notify the county the timing of during the harvest, so that way there can be cooperation together on making sure that all odors can be mitigated as best as possible.
Commissioners?
Please.
I know we have the nasal ranger. Are we still certified on it?
I can recertify if my certification expired, but if we get with them and recertify.
Thank you.
And then just to follow up, I can't speak to that other operation by the hospital, but maybe Joel, I know he said it was massive, and I'm not sure, Joel, if you can confirm, are they cultivating outdoor at that facility as well?
As far as I know, it was indoor, but it was extremely close. And as I mentioned, there was way more buildings. I'm not exactly sure the number, and they were directly in line with the hospital. I've been to the facilities and the vents, like literally were pointing to the hospital. And I don't, as far as I know, they were not, because I met with the real estate agent there. And when we were going through everything, he did not mention anything about any filtration systems to knock down the smell of what their operation was producing. So that's probably why they had the smell.
Right. So in that facility, it was 1 acre under glass, basically, and they had fans on the east end of the building. What they had talked about installing, had they continued operation, was water mist with a like odoban in a tunnel, so that it would go, the exhaust fans would go through a tunnel misted.
And sorry,
go ahead.
And to clarify, the property is 110 acres with a big farm.
Okay, other questions?
You had stated that the smell is mostly during the trimming process. Did I understand that correctly?
Well, it is,
maybe not.
We didn't really have, when I was working with the operation, with the plants that I stated around 10,000, we did not have the odor. I don't know why. Maybe it was because the amount of plants, maybe it was, I don't know why, but it was nothing. You could drive down the highway 160 and you could smell that facility there next to the hospital. So leaving from the site, the farm, going down the back road 504, I would not, because I would come and go daily. There was no smell at all, and the wind came right across that valley there. I mean, I would believe if there was a problem, there would have been complaints. So obviously with no complaints, it wasn't the same.
Yeah, so technically, yes, doing trimming. And, yeah.
And you're
When we expect it to be the highest.
Yeah. And you're looking at probably around the same amount of plants, 10,000 for the, oh, no, okay. Well,
That was out.
previous.
Yeah, it was outdoor,
Yeah, Rachel can jump on and add more. Rachel, you want to take this?
Yeah, well, just to let you know that we can only apply for a tier 1 license with the MED initially, which is a maximum of 1,800 plants.
Oh,
So
okay.
until they can show that they are consistently cultivating and able to transfer and sell over 70% or 85% in some circumstances, all of what they're producing, the MED will not allow them to cultivate more. So after their first harvest or so, if they can show they grew 85% of their plants and they were able to sell those, they can apply to expand the number of plants, but still that expansion only goes to 3,600 plants. So there's a step up in how you can increase that amount, and that takes many harvests to show that you're able to do that. So this season initially, it will only be a maximum of 1,800 plants, and that's at all points in the growth cycle.
So which brings up a question for me to staff. So if we do this licensing, is there a plant limit associated with this, or is this an open license?
I think that's up to you guys. Right now, the application is for about 1,000 plants is what their anticipated grow. And the indoor facilities are limited in size, of course. So, you could, I think, very reasonably limit the license to the hoop house and the greenhouse that exist. And then if they're going to expand at some point, they would have to come and do that as a new application or as a part of a renewal. So, I mean, I think right now what's proposed is limited by the facility itself.
Right, but if we didn't limit the license, then they could expand the facility without coming back and having a discussion about it. What do you guys think if we limited, and I'm just going to throw a number out there, we limited the license to 2,000 plants?
Yeah, so right now, technically to stay legal with states, we cannot go over 1,800. And of that 1,800 plants count, we're not going to be harvesting 1,800 at a time. Okay, because of the way the operation would work in cycles, we're limited by all of those factors. And then throw into the fact that the facility, we don't have a big enough facility to go that route. Although we have 110 acres, we are now planning to grow outdoor, thinking about water and like sustainability. The math doesn't add up. So we are limited by all of those factors. And before we can even upgrade or increase that plant count, we would need to go back to the state to get approved through them. And they have a lot of systems in place also with that.
So it wouldn't really impact you one way or another if we said, this is a license for 2,000, up to 2,000 plants.
Yeah, you could place a limit on it, but we're limited already.
And now that's not saying that they couldn't come back and ask for an amendment or expansion of that license. It's not like you have to go through the entire process again. I don't believe, right?
Right.
Definitely, and like we honestly are looking to run a great operation where we're taking into account our neighbors and the community, and all of those things, and they're open and we want to be transparent.
Okay. No questions?
And did you see as how if my map is correct here, that development, the housing development that's right there to the east of you, was there anything in the previous, any complaints or any discussions, or how are they notified for that previously?
everything was, there was attorneys and professionals.
So Rachel, do you want to move on to this question for Adam?
Yeah, and I think, are you asking that when they were operating as a hemp farm, whether they received, whether there was notice?
Yeah, correct. Was there?
No,
everything-
there wasn't. And that's because the law doesn't require hemp farms. Hemp is treated like essentially like any other agricultural business. There is no licensing. It's just you have to get permitted by CDPHE, but there's none of this licensing process for hemp. So there was none of that process. So they did operate a significantly larger hemp cultivation than what we're asking for today for a number of years. And to my understanding, there were not any complaints to the landowner or to the county regarding their hemp operations.
And to add on a few things, so we got grants of the social equity licensing from the state, which more or less gives us access to grants and resources from the state, grants, loans, advising, which I think is helpful in terms of us running this operation.
And to elaborate on that piece, because there was such good information from the presentation before us about all the grant funds that are being utilized in the county, due to the social equity status of Focus Buds, the Office of Economic Development and International Trade for the state of Colorado, they have an office called the Cannabis Business Office that sets aside grant funds for social equity applicants. The next round of grants are being given out in August. So if my client is granted a license, he can apply for and be awarded a $25,000 grant from the state of Colorado, which will be directly invested in Huerfano County, in the property, in hiring, things of that nature. So just another reason why this applicant in particular would be particularly well suited for Huerfano County. They own their property through a separate entity, but they own the property. So it's not somebody who's coming in to speculate and not plant roots. They've been there for many years. They, have been paying all of their taxes, like was mentioned by Sky in the staff report. And so, and furthermore, they're going to be able to get state grants to utilize in the county, which will help build jobs. And there are multiple rounds of grants that they may be able to qualify for. So the timing would really work exceptionally well if they were granted a license or approval at least to finish any conditions that you may require. So that way we can invest those state grant funds into the county.
And to add on a little bit more, like I think we're also open to get loans at a 0.625% when the next round comes up through that social equity program. Our taxes have increased quite a bit in the last 6 years. We've from 3,000 in 2018 to almost 30,000 or around 25 for this year. And we want to be operational so we can pay taxes that support the community. We would rather do that than have an empty farm where we have this tax liability we can't do anything with, and the property won't sell you.
Last question, or at least right this second. Do you have an idea of how many employees you might have if everything was a perfect storm? And
if everything is perfect, we would love to have six full-times, but it looked like 2 full-times growers, 2 full-time trimmers, and then 3 part-time employees. That would add up to almost 2 full-times jobs. And those 3 part-time, some of them would be maybe outsourced and online. And right now, I believe the county regulation is at least 50% or 51% of all the employees must be in Huerfano County, which we love. Like Joe is already, we're hoping to bring him back on board. And he's already one of the first employees we will be hiring back on board. Okay, and right now it's in a really part-time capacity. And he's been here throughout us having this farm.
So that actually brings up another question for me. So we're permitting an entire 110 acre parcel, correct?
Well,
If I could add on to that, so with the way the property set up, the 110 acres, it's not ideal for the company. So eventually we are going to look to break down or have a smaller piece of the property solely for the cannabis operation. Okay, so we will most likely end up splitting this property into a smaller piece. So for the cannabis operation, because part of the reasons we're getting taxed, I believe, so much right now is because we have 110 acre farm.
Vacant land.
Yeah.
And so that was where I was going with that question was, is it possible, or is it a conflict with this license to have housing on that same 110 acres?
I don't believe anything in our marijuana ordinance speaks to that.
Directly.
So I don't think there's a conflict. I mean, it's, not aware that I don't know if there's any state laws that would prohibit one parcel from having housing and a marijuana operation. But we didn't articulate any sort of division between those two. I mean, we did say kind of in a somewhat related way that we did restrict marijuana use in residentially zoned areas, but constructing a residence in an agriculturally zoned area is perfectly legal. And so that I don't think that brings up a conflict.
Okay.
If I can speak to that, while you are granting a license on the parcel at that address, you're not licensing the entire parcel, really. And that was the purpose of submitting our floor plan that says where the licensed premises is. Once that approval is granted with that specific floor plan or site plan of where the licensed premises is, my clients cannot do anything outside of that premises related to cannabis unless they're transporting it to another facility. So we would have to come before you if we wanted to modify those boundaries of the licensed premises within that acreage. So, as you probably see on the map, significant portion of the property, even though it's currently under, like for tax purposes and zoning purposes, it's one parcel. If my client's would still be able to subdivide areas outside the licensed area and see, for those to be zoned vacant or, agricultural. But we would have to come and ask permission from you if we wanted to make any modification to those boundaries on the property of where the marijuana activity is taking place.
And to add on, I believe the area we also grow in has to be fenced and by 6 foot. Is that right, Rachel? Chain link fence on that, and that should be on the site plan.
Correct. So it'll be fenced, surveillance cameras along the perimeter, all meeting state requirements. And then I work with clients around the state and in other areas that are more agricultural. We do see residents on the same parcel. They're just not within that limited access licensed area. So I've had a client in Uray with a home on their property and a cultivation site, indoor cultivation site on the same property. I have clients in Saguache County and the town of Moffett. So there aren't any state regulations that say you can't have a residence on the same parcel. You can't have them within that fenced in area. But that would be the only limitation on the residents if they wanted to put something there for workers or something like that.
We also don't have any plans to personally have a residence on that property. There's another smaller property we do own that has a residence on it. Currently, I think it's about, I want to say 30 acres, 25. Okay, and that has a portable home and another greenhouse that is not operational. So in terms of residency, we already have solutions if we needed that.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions, Carl?
No.
Staff?
Yes. So, earlier, Joel, you mentioned that the hospital, that you observed that the Robot Hospital had vents pointing towards the hospital?
Exactly, the fans and the louvers, which the louvers are what lets the air in, and the fans suck the hot air out. Pointing out, it seemed like it was directly in line with the hospital.
So are your vents pointing towards that residential area?
Well, our situation is a different one. We're about 500 feet higher than, well, it's at least 300 feet higher than the actual, it's not?
No, it is, but I'm just thinking about it.
Oh.
I don't think it's pointing in that direction. Because,
No, it's there, in front of us is the state park. So that the state park, and then there's the residential down over here.
Okay. And then, I think that's all the questions, one question I had.
Questions from, do you want to go questions from the public?
Yes.
Are there any questions from the public? Online.
Not here.
Dale Lyons.
we also got some letters signed with neighbors, right?
I had a couple of questions. I don't understand if the rules say you can't use hauled water. Oh, it sounds like you said something. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. If you say it's against the rules to use hauled water as your water source, and they're planning to use hauled water, and there's no more water from the Water Conservancy District for marijuana growing, I'm still confused about water. I'm sorry. Maybe I misunderstood.
I believe the only restriction on hauled water is if it's within 3 miles of a municipal boundary, then you'd want to tap into that existing municipal water source. This being outside of that radius, it just states that you need a legal water source approved by DWR.
But under water resources, where it says WR 1.4, applicants should avoid reliance on hauled water. That's what it says. So that's where my confusion lies. I'm sorry.
Hold on, Dale.
So as far as I know, I believe that has something to do with directly getting the water from here in town, that you are not to use the water from the water station here in town to cultivate marijuana. As far as I know, that is what that is about. And we would be using a separate, the Olo Springs, which is not part of the city water supply, because in the past, I think it was like 3,000 gallons a month that they allowed to, and that was for home use. That was not for cultivating any sort. I believe it's always been like that. Not for any cultivating at all.
And to add on, we have to be approved by the state for water. We have a well on the property, but we cannot use that well for growing activities, rightly so because of sustainability. So that's why the solution is hauled water, which is expensive to us.
Right.
Well, and planning and zoning, we've dealt with this issue for years. And I think hauled water means hauled water, not from the city. It means from Ojo Springs, because it's not a guaranteed water source, is what we've discussed on planning and zoning for years over every one of these permits. So I'm a little befuddled about why it's in our regulations, and if that's the means of water they're going to use. I just don't understand that. Maybe it's my misconception, or I'm just not getting it, but it says it right there, and now they're saying that's what they're going to use for water, when we know all this hauled water, there's no guarantee that it will continue. what we've come to the conclusion numerous times on planning and zoning. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dale. Carl, you wanted to say something?
So, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, does our ordinance say you cannot use hot water, or says you go and rely to hot water?
I'm not sure exactly where Dale was reading from, but in 1.08.04, it states any new cultivation facilities located more than 3 miles of a municipality must demonstrate a physical legal source of water approved by a Division II engineer from the Colorado Division of Water Resources. Documentation of this requirement must be included in the application at the time of the initial submittal.
It's on page 65 of your packet.
And if I may add something, I think where Dale was reading from actually was under the comprehensive plan compliance section. And it doesn't just say applicants shouldn't use hauled water. It says applicants should avoid reliance on hauled water for which a firm contract for a specific amount of water over a specific period of time has not been entered into with a water provider. In this case, my client did enter into a firm contract for a specific amount of water, and that was submitted. So we do have a contract. So that kind of goes to what Joel was saying was, you know, they don't want to allow just hauling it where you don't have a contract for a specific amount of water. And that makes sense because of all the variables that could go there. But it does say it should avoid reliance on haul water for which a contract has not been entered into. And so here a contract has been entered into, and the Division of Water Resources confirmed that that is a legal source of water for this use. So that should, you know, those two things combined satisfy the comprehensive plan requirements regarding water resources. So, and that one's on, looks like page 2 of the staff report.
Okay, Dale, your last comments? Or do you still have your hand up?
I was reading from the staff report, WD1 on page 41. That's where I was reading. It's the gray square box 41. It says DWR. And we've talked about this so much on planning and zoning, and we had big issues with people hauling water, whether they had a contract or not, because we felt that the water wasn't a totally reliable source of water. They couldn't guarantee they were going to have water at the end of August, let's say. That was always what it came up to, even if you had a contract with them. But thank you for your time, and thank you for answering my question.
Okay. Thank you, Jill.
John, we have one Olo Springs in contract, but then there's other multiple sources, outlets to for water. I mean, there's plenty of homeowners, plenty of people around that have water that can legally sell water in 18-wheelers.
And in planning this and this in due diligence, I have 2 other backup plans already in place for this. So we contacted a bunch of companies. I got a bunch of estimates. We chose OHO because of proximity, okay, pricing, and it worked well for us. Okay, so this behind OHO, there's another company that was ready to give us a contract, and Joel also had a general resident community that was ready, but we chose the most efficient and sustainable offering.
Also, once again, we will not be having the capacity of any of these other grows around here. Nothing close. There's nothing close. Nothing at all close. So there's nothing close with what these other people are doing.
Okay. Any other questions?
One last thing, the camper. Is anyone living in the camper?
No, it's just stationary on the property.
Joe, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the hemp operation was going, that's also really used like a break room, right?
It was there. And during that time, as I mentioned to Sherry and her associate when they came, as far as we knew during that time, everything was up to par with the state because we had people from the state out regularly. They knew of all the buildings that were in place. They knew of everything that was there. So as I mentioned to them, in the past, everything was done by the books. that was through the water people that were dealing with the state with the well, the real estate attorney that was dealing with all the rules and regulations due to permits and whatnot for land use here in Huerfano County. We wanted to go about doing everything completely by the book. That way there was no issues or problems whatsoever. We're just looking to, do what's required and so we can.
So for us, if I'm wrong, the state sends people to do testing.
Yes.
Trials,
Yes.
Regularly.
Yes.
While they were operating.
And with him, I believe that they would be out even more. And as y'all are aware, the video cameras, everything is monitored directly by the state. Wherever any work is going to be being done would be monitored on, the property would be monitored on camera for security and also for.
So, on the camper, if it's not going to be used, but it's on your plans, it'd be nice to have it removed. If it is on your plans, it's nice to have it sitting on a solid pad to avoid rodents and things of that nature, but that's our only request for a condition.
And I spoke with Sherry a little bit earlier before this meeting about getting some of those CUPs and permits taken care of and having that resolved before this meeting.
Anything else? Back to you.
One thing that the applicant submitted that I didn't mention is that based on their revenue projections, they anticipate about $35,000 a year in excise taxes to be paid to the county. So it's a fairly small operation, but that's about what that is.
Okay, thank you. With that, I think we will close this hearing. Is that accurate? Okay. Yep. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate your desire.
For your time, John.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Absolutely.
Have a nice, yeah, thank you. Did you see it still next to it? With the deposit? Thank you, Sharon.
Okay.
How you doing?
So with that, we will move to action items. And the first item is a decision on the license for that. So according to what I heard is we have 30 days in order to issue the license after this hearing.
Or to issue a decision.
Or issue a decision after this hearing. And so the conditions that we heard were the emergency contact signage, the dealing with the camper, either remove it or set it on a slab. What were the other conditions?
To resolve the lack of a certificate of occupancy or finalization of the building permit for the greenhouse, and to pull a building permit for the
hoop houses. Okay. So what's your pleasure?
Let's get some of those things together.
And the CUP.
See where we're at.
So try to get the license together with those restrictions or conditions for the next county commissioner meeting. Is that accurate? Is that our goal here?
So what's involved, Chair, in getting the building permit for the hoop house?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What's involved in getting the building permit for the hoop house?
So he came and talked with me earlier. He's actually filling it out. Once he gets it filled out, we just need the specs and look at the slab that he has the hoop house on. So it shouldn't take us too long. We can run it through by the end of the week, probably, and until he gets it paid. You can get specs off the internet too, because it's a standard hoop house.
Okay, so get everything into compliance, get the license ready with the conditions as quickly as possible. A week or 2 weeks tops, please. So, then that's the action item is no action until we get,
Satisfy some of those,
right?
really definitely the 25th, maybe.
Could you make a staff direction, motion to work with the applicant to resolve the camping, shipping containers and building permit issues, and then to bring the license back, for final review by the board at the next BOCC meeting or as soon as possible thereafter?
Yes, and then is there any requirements for neighbors to, for the CUP to?
Yeah. And then a limit on the size to 2,000 plants.
Or 1,800.
Or
State.
1,800.
The neighbors, we will, as part of the ordinance, part of the months now, with complaints from local neighbors and working with the applicant to resolve the issues.
Okay, are you guys comfortable with that direction? Does that, I know you'd like to move faster.
Oh,
Applicants, but
We appreciate it.
So we appreciate that. We hope to move as fast as possible, but we appreciate the job and working with us. Been a 2-year, almost a 2-year process right now.
okay,
So we would love to move as fast as possible, but we will go at your pace.
okay, but you didn't hear anything in there that's a deal breaker for you? Okay.
We want to abide by the rules and regulations that everyone else does. And as I mentioned, just a quick cap on the stuff before, that was in the past and things changed. It's been a couple of years since anything was going on there, meeting with the camper or the containers. So if we need to get all that, we can you're right on it for real.
I'll work with Jerry to first take care of it. The 2,000 pack house works perfectly. We already limited by the state by 18 or 13.
Okay, so,
Yeah, the containers, I forgot about the
yeah,
containers.
so that, you want us to restate that for a motion for? Nice. This is a test.
Yeah. Okay.
So a motion to direct staff to work with the applicant to resolve issues related to shipping containers, the camper, and the building permits, and bring back for final review bring the application back for final review before the Board of County Commissioners at the next meeting as soon as possible thereafter, with a condition that the signage be added to the property and that the approval be limited to, the operation be limited to no more than 2,000 plants without amendment.
It can be amended. You good with that?
Yeah.
And so I want a little bit more about how we still have to go through our things license and.
Yeah.
I just want to say we can't get a certificate of occupancy out though to the building, the greenhouse, until it's satisfied through the
Right.
plumbing and electrical, but everything else we can get done.
So you accept that as a motion?
Yeah.
I will second that. Any other discussion? Call the vote, please.
Commissioner Sweet?
Yes.
Chairman Lucia?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you all so much for your time. I'm looking forward to be spending more of my money back here in the county.
Good.
Also, I know that we would like to, I'm sure, donate to one of the charities for the elderly people that the lady was mentioning about lack of funds. I know that we would be more than. Well, I myself.
Okay, you can just leave a blank check.
Thank you guys a lot. This means a lot.
Thank you all so much. One last thing, I'll bring you up at another time. Thank you all. This we're on.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Sherry, at this time.
Population 2405, Robert Gonzalez Day.
Commissioners, so next I have for you population number 24-205, and still 5, population of the county of June 11th, 2024, as Robert Gonzalez Day in the Commonwealth.
Motion for that to be 2405, Robert, that's all.
Second. Discussion. Call the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Bush,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you the adopted orderly resolution, resolution 24-23. Robert Gilbert here edited with the changes from the last meeting. So we hopefully that meet your approval.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. Looks good.
Make a motion to accept the resolution 24-23, adopt a road rate.
Second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Bush,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you resolution number 24-24 regarding Huerfano County's limited resources, immigration, and refugee priorities.
Make a motion to accept that. I would like to change some of the wording in that if possible, so we may table that for a little more editing, if it's.
Do you have specifics of what you'd like to add?
No, I did, but not only that it's not a non-sanctuary, but if we are more like Douglas counties where they had, if Denver did bring someone into the county, that we'd have ability to be able to excise a fine.
That would require an ordinance.
Oh, okay. Is that the?
So this as a resolution states our position. If you want to be proactive or restrictive in if somebody does something, there's a penalty associated with that.
Yeah.
And we have to go through the ordinance process.
Oh, okay.
All right. So did you make a motion to approve this? Or-
Well, we approve this and then look at the ordinance at a later date to add more teeth to it.
Sure. Second. Any other discussion? Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Bush,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioner, next I have the resolution numbered 24-25. A resolution confirming the establishment of the Gardner Public Improvement District.
I'll page that on.
Why have you got it in your edit?
I would just say that this cleans up something that I did in 2011. I was close, but this cleans up.
Oh, okay, because that's where I went around when that had started. So I was.
Yeah, we, the way the statute reads is a little, it's sort of silly. It's not clear at all. But the DOLA was very clear that we need to pass a resolution to officially establish the district, even though we had passed a resolution that would approve by the voters to establish the district. So it's.
Okay, okay. I'll make a motion to clean up that for 24-25 establishment of the GPID.
Second. Any discussion? Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Bush,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you resolution number 24-26, a resolution regarding the county resolution on ambulance services. So this resolution would not change anything for the EMS services licensing that's currently in effect, but it would allow that the only hospital permitted to transport, only EMS service permitted to transport out of the county is the Spanish Peaks ambulance, operated by the hospital district. If Levita or any other ambulance service were to transport from outside the county, they would need to stop at Spanish Peaks Hospital first. But currently they do not do any of those transports. There's no effect on Levita, but for the hospital, it will allow them to increase their reimbursement from Medicare and Medicaid for services provided as a critical access hospital.
Have you, and you did talk to Levita?
I talked to Dave Mauer, and then I also talked to Chief Bennett at Riot.
Okay. And
they had no issues.
We're fully on board with it.
thank you so much.
And the understanding is that they know that if we need mutual aid, then they can still transport. Otherwise, they.
Thank you so much.
And there's no situation where there is a scenario where they absolutely time-wise would not be a benefit to stop off and to go on. Is there any situations where that might be?
They could still, I mean, if there was ever that situation, they could just call our DR, talk to our doctor, and then our doctor would say, if we can't handle that here, continue to a more appropriate facility. So that's stuff they would do now. They either call Life for Life.
Yeah, okay.
To get further north, or our doctor would talk to them and tell them they need to go further north.
Okay. Okay, very good. I make a motion to accept the 24-26 ambulance services.
Should I second? Second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Lewis?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience.
Commissioner, this is resolution number 24-27, resolution supporting the Southeastern Colorado Water Defense District. And this resolution essentially just lays out that the county is supportive of the water district, water service district in their disagreement with the city of Aurora, and that it's important to Huerfano County as a user on the Arkansas Basin. That water is important to this county, and therefore we care.
And that we oppose it going to Aurora.
No.
Yes, we oppose.
We may oppose. Unless you want to wade into that battle, I would not, we shouldn't put that in the resolution. And our water attorney can't represent us on this issue.
Because I thought it said that in the resolution that it says that we.
I'm working on like 5 different conversations with different water people here.
Okay.
You know. So it does say we oppose it, but we're not opposing as in court opposing.
It says we're supporting the Water
The
Conservancy
resolution.
District's opposition and the Arkansas Basin's opposition.
Yeah, okay.
So that, by supporting their opposition, that keeps us out of the lawsuit still, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I'll tell you about my confusion when I was reading this thing. Later date, make a motion to accept support the resolution 24-27.
Second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Lewis?
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you on second reading ordinance number 24-01, amended and restated ordinance 20-01, adopting a penalty for any person convicted of illegal dumping of solid waste in Huerfano County, and adopting a reward for individuals who provide information that leads to the successful conviction of a person committing the act of illegal dumping.
Make a motion to accept the ordinance 24-01.
Second. For discussion, so what happens now?
So what happens now is next Thursday, we have put this in the paper by title only, and it was adopted. And then we, is effective on that date, at which point Lays can start issuing citations.
Thank you so much. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Glish?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, next I have for you the first amendment to the Parker Castile Turbine Park Operations Memorandum of Understanding. I sent this to PSC on Friday. Our point of contact at PSC, Ken Clayton, had a family emergency, but haven't had a chance to review this. If you'd like to approve this, conditioned on their approval, of course, that's fine. Or if you'd like to wait for hear back from them, either way.
I just wait to hear back from.
All right. And Commissioner, next have your purchase order number 206. This is an amendment to the purchase order adding additional $6,270.66 for our 2024 underfunded courthouse grant project. This amount will be fully eaten by the county. That grant, we've expended the full amount of that grant in the previous award. What happened is with the change of personnel, we looked back at the project and decided to make a few changes that will, I think, improve the quality of the system and that's being installed, and also make it easier to, and also make sure that we do resolve a couple of issues. For instance, the jail being able to tell that the system for prisoner transport is active before they get all the way down to the judicial center. So the main source of that increase is $6,000 worth of labor. We took some things out, and added some things, so the materials sort of balance it out.
And is there, what other cost share, is there other funds that need to come out after that?
No, we no further change orders. We should be good on this project. This portion is 100% on us, the 6,000, but we did budget more for this project, so we're not going to be over budget in what we've allocated. We're just going to relate to this. So.
Okay, make motion to accept the purchase order 206 judicial security grant.
Second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Bishop?
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a secure transportation service license application and a vehicle permit for DC Private Investigation Security Consultants out of Huerfano. Commissioners, we are still waiting on a couple of things for this application, namely the payment of the fee and some of the required submittals. You can either approve this conditional on receiving those or hold it until we get those items in.
In favor of bringing it back.
Yeah. Just bring it back.
So no action, bring it back.
No action. Yeah, no action.
All right, Commissioners, next I have for you a temporary personal service agreement for legal services between Huerfano County Superior Department of Human Services and the Law Office of Lisa Paviani.
Service provider shall provide these services specified in section 1 free of charge.
Sounds pretty good. Make motion to accept the temporary service agreement.
Second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Bishop?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, next I have for you a contract negotiation agreement between Huerfano County and the Wellman Way LLC. This is a contract for Heather Wellman to continue her service as DHS Director until the 27th day of July 2024, on which that'll be her start date as employee.
Make motion for a professional service agreement with Heather Wellman.
Second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Bishop?
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have a bulk water permit for Brenda Denholtz, Lot 7, Silver Fox Ranches in Gardner. Lanes has investigated the property and there are no code violations. They have applied for the permit with intentions to build a home and develop the property.
I can't read my note. I had a question, but I can't.
So we've at times gone back and forth a little bit on issuing permits without a house on the property. And sometimes we said, okay, we're going to let them continue, and sometimes we said, that they had full building permit in so many years, something like that, so.
Have they stated anything of that nature?
They have not in this application, but we can certainly ask them.
And unless I was reading it wrong, it looked like it's a little open-ended. I'd like to have a little more.
These are open-ended applications. Once you approved your.
What's that?
Would it be out of line to say we want a building permit within 12 months?
I think that's fine. If they don't have that, they can come back and say, why, you can consider it again.
Yeah.
You know, that's an extra burden on our staff to track that, but
Let's do that.
it's got value.
Yeah. Motion to approve that with that criteria for 12 months.
Second. Oh, any discussion? Let's wait for somebody to call for the vote. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Lucia?
Yes.
Motion passes.
So I have a motion to approve for the 12-month review of building.
It's for them to pull a building permit within 12 months.
Yes.
All right, Commissioners, next I have for you purchase order number 260 for IntelliChoice Inc. You may know them through our service we have for them, which is called eForce. In the total amount of $7,592.49. This is for the annual license and support fee for eForce. It's half what we paid in previous years because this is a read-only version. Whereas we're paying for the full version. I'm hoping that sometime this year we will be able to bring you a solution to either eliminate eForce or to or whatever the sheriff's office would like to do as far as moving forward with these records.
I like it. I don't think that's cost.
Make motion to purchase order 260 read only annual license and support fee.
Second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Lucia?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioners, next I have for you a request to approve a statewide Internet Portal Authority SIPA Gov grant in an amount not to exceed $20,000. Our project involves moving our permits and licenses to Tyler Technologies Enterprise Permitting Licensing System, as well as adopting Tyler Technologies Engagement Builder System, which will allow the county to offer digital versions of our remaining forms, ultimately streamline certain processes. This is a 100% grant, and we're applying for implementation and year one expenses.
Make a motion to accept the to apply approval for the SIPA government grants.
Second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Chairman Lucia?
Yes.
Motion passes. And that is the end of action.
Correspondence, Mr. Young.
First up, we have your GPID water and sewer water report. Then your billing register. Your system tools report. 8D is a report from the Huerfano County Sheriff's Office regarding certain revenues. Next I have for you the CCI legislative priorities and process memo. So at some time in the next couple of weeks, we'd have a session about what we're submitting to CCI. Then I will take a little bit update from CTSI on cybersecurity controls. This is part 3. Let's take an update on when can a county pay its volunteers. And then 8H is your CTSI monthly reports for May. 8I is a flyer for the state business resource fair. And 8J is a letter from Bruce Allen announcing he's resigning from the Huerfano County Building Authority. And he's resigning because he's leaving the area. He said that he very much enjoyed serving on that board and had learned a lot from doing so.
Any
Questions or anything?
Motion to accept correspondence,
Accept the resignation.
or I mean, yeah, sorry,
Okay,
with the resignation.
second. Discussion. We just sent him a letter saying thank you very much for your service. We appreciate you. All in favor? I'm sorry. Please.
Commissioner Sweeter?
Yes.
Chairman Boucher?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, admin staff report. Just your open positions. I have a note that in there that Road and Bridge began working on moving those HESCO bags from around the community center. He completed that work before, I think, the end of June. He completed that work today. So that is, the HESCO bags are removed. He still has to get a sweeper in there to clean up all the dirt that's on the floor. And we talked about yesterday about getting some striping going down there because most of those parking spaces have faded out. I was going to work with Gary on the sweeping, while we're sand and gravel. So we're also with Gary on the striping, and we'll go from there. The building authority did report that one of their members, Dr. Shaw, hasn't attended a meeting since January. So they're going to try to reach out one more time, and if not, we might have to let you guys action item to remove her from the board. Other than that, just a report of activities and some other notes to the board. And that's all I have for you on that front. And then in your attorney report, there's just the note about the Amadani case.
Any questions on the reports? Okay. Moving on to, so we have a need for an executive session for conference with the county attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice specific to a legal question under CRS 246424B. That's specifically the county attorney updates at 1 p.m.
Motion?
Make a motion, sorry, for executive session at 1 o'clock for conference with the county attorney.
Second. Discussion. There'll be no decisions made during the executive session and no action after the executive session in the regular board meeting. Over vote, please.
Commissioner Spruill?
Yes.
Chairman Boucher?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And we're at recess. Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.